The discovery that changed everything. Captain Maya Rodriguez brushed the ancient dust from her hands as she stared at the massive crystalline structure before her. The ruins on Kepler 438b stretched endlessly across the barren landscape, their geometric patterns defying human understanding. 3 months of careful excavation had led her team to this moment, the discovery of what appeared to be an intact data archive from a civilization that had vanished before humans had even learned to make fire. The crystal hummed with internal energy, its surface covered in symbols that seemed to shift when viewed directly. Maya had seen similar structures during her 15 years as a xenohistorian, but nothing this complete, nothing this old. Her portable scanner indicated the archive was still active after 75,000 years. Energy readings are off. The charts, Captain. Dr. James Park called from his position near the scanning equipment. The young astrophysicist had been monitoring the structure for hours, his excitement barely contained. Whatever power source these beings used, it makes our fusion reactors look primitive. Commander Zara al-Rashid, their military escort, kept watch from the entrance to the chamber. The veteran soldier had insisted on accompanying the research team despite the seeming absence of any threats on this dead world. Her instincts had kept Maya's expedition safe on dozens of dangerous worlds, and Maya trusted those instincts completely. Can we access the data without damaging the structure? Maya asked, approaching the crystal carefully. The alien symbols seemed to respond to her presence, glowing brighter as she drew near. I believe so, James replied, adjusting his equipment. The archive appears to have some kind of interface system. It's almost like it wants to be read. Maya placed her hand on the crystal's surface. The material was warm to the touch, and she felt a strange tingling sensation through her gloves. The symbols began to pulse in patterns that almost seemed familiar, though she knew that was impossible. Beginning data extraction now, James announced. The information is being translated through our linguistic protocols, but some of these concepts are completely alien to human understanding. The first images appeared on their portable holographic display. Star charts filled the air around them, showing this region of the galaxy in incredible detail. Maya recognized many of the star systems, places that humanity had only discovered in the past century were marked with precise accuracy on these ancient maps. This is incredible, Maya whispered, studying the charts. They mapped everything. Every planet, every asteroid field, every stellar phenomenon. The level of detail is beyond anything we've achieved even now. James was working frantically with the translation software, trying to decode the accompanying data. The maps spanned thousands of years, showing stellar drift and planetary changes over time. These beings understood astronomy better than we do. Maya began comparing the alien charts to modern human star maps. The accuracy was stunning. Systems that required powerful telescopes to detect were clearly marked. Planets orbiting distant suns were cataloged with perfect precision. But as she studied the charts more carefully, something began to trouble her. James, pull up the chart. For our local stellar neighborhood, she said, her voice tight with growing concern. The holographic display shifted, showing the region of space containing Earth's solar system. Maya stared at the image, checking and rechecking the coordinates. The sun was clearly marked along with all the other planets. Jupiter's moons were catalogued. Saturn's rings were noted in detail. Even the asteroid belt was perfectly mapped. But Earth was missing. Not just unmarked or mislabeled, completely absent. The space where Earth should have been was empty, as if the third planet from Sol had never existed. That has to be an error, James said, studying the data himself. Some kind of corruption in the translation process. Maya shook her head, her archaeological training taking over. These beings were meticulous. Look at this level of detail. They cataloged asteroids smaller than cities. They wouldn't have missed an entire planet. She accessed more charts from different time periods stored in the archive. All showed the same thing, a gap where Earth should be in every single map spanning thousands of years. Commander al-Rashid approached from her guard position, drawn by the tension in their voices. What have you found? According to these star charts, Earth doesn't exist, Maya replied, her voice barely above a whisper. Every other planet in our solar system is perfectly mapped, but our homeworld is simply not there. The commander frowned, studying the holographic displays. Maybe they just missed it somehow. Even advanced civilizations make mistakes. No, Maya said firmly, pulling up more data. Look at these biological surveys. They documented life on dozens of worlds throughout this region. Mars shows evidence of ancient microbes. Venus is noted as too hostile for complex life. But Earth is marked with a symbol I've never seen before. James worked with the translation programs, trying to decode the mysterious symbol. After several minutes, he looked up with confusion. The closest translation I can get is forbidden zone or quarantine sector, but that doesn't make sense if Earth didn't exist. Maya felt a chill run down her spine. The implications were staggering. Either humanity's homeworld hadn't existed 75,000 years ago, which was impossible given geological evidence, or these advanced beings had deliberately removed it from their records. Keep searching, she ordered. There has to be more information somewhere in this archive. For the next 6 hours, the team combed through the crystal's vast memory banks. They found detailed records of dozens of alien civilizations, many of which were still active in the galactic community today. Trade routes, diplomatic agreements, and cultural exchanges were all meticulously documented. The beings who created this archive had been the dominant power in this region of space, but nowhere in any file was there mention of Earth or its inhabitants. As far as these ancient record keepers were concerned, humans had never existed. "Captain, I found something," James called out excitedly. He had discovered a section of files marked with warning symbols, classified information that required special authorization to access. "What is it?" Maya asked, hurrying to his station. "Quarantine protocols," James replied, his voice tight with tension. These beings had detailed procedures for dealing with dangerous worlds. And look at this list. Maya scanned the data. Dozens of planets were marked for quarantine, worlds with deadly plagues, systems with hostile alien species, regions with dangerous astronomical phenomena. And there, at the bottom of the list, were coordinates she recognized. Earth's solar system was listed under the highest level of quarantine classification. They didn't miss Earth, Maya realized, her voice hollow. They deliberately hid it. "Commander," Al-Rashid moved closer to examine the data. "What kind of danger would make an advanced civilization hide an entire planet from their maps?" Before anyone could answer, the chamber's atmosphere suddenly changed. The crystal's humming shifted to a higher pitch, and the alien symbols began pulsing in rapid patterns. James's equipment started registering massive energy spikes. "Something's happening," he warned. "The archive is responding to our presence differently now." Maya watched as new data streams began flowing across their displays. These files were different from the others, older, more heavily encrypted and marked with symbols that made her eyes hurt to look at directly. "I'm getting references to something called the Architects," James reported, struggling with the translation. "And there's mention of Project Genesis, some kind of long-term biological experiment." The implications hit Maya like a physical blow. If Earth was quarantined, if it was the subject of some ancient experiment, then humanity's entire understanding of their origins might be wrong. "How long ago were these files created?" she asked. James checked the timestamps, his face pale. The Genesis Project files date back over 100,000 years. They reference the seeding of suitable worlds and the cultivation of adaptive species. Maya stared at the data flowing across their screens. Genetic sequences, biological templates, and environmental specifications filled the displays. The technical complexity was beyond human understanding, but the implications were clear. "They created us," she whispered. "Humans aren't naturally evolved. We're the result of some ancient genetic engineering project." Commander Al-Rashid looked skeptical. "That's impossible. Our fossil record shows clear evolutionary development on Earth." "Does it?" Maya challenged. "Or does it show what we were designed to see? If beings with this level of technology wanted to hide evidence of genetic manipulation, they could easily falsify geological records." James was still working through the translation, his excitement and terror warring in his expression. "Captain, there's more. The Genesis project wasn't just about creating life, it was about creating the ultimate survival speedar and resilient beyond any naturally evolved organism." The crystal's energy output suddenly spiked, and alarms began sounding on their equipment. The ancient symbols were now pulsing in patterns that suggested countdown sequences. "We need to leave," Commander Al-Rashid announced, her military instincts taking over. "This structure is destabilizing." Maya grabbed her portable storage units, downloading as much data as possible. The implications of what they had discovered were too important to lose. As the team evacuated the chamber, the crystal's light began to fade, and the alien symbols dimmed to barely visible outlines. Outside the ruins, Maya looked up at the alien sky and wondered about the stars visible beyond the planet's thin atmosphere. Somewhere among those distant suns was Earth, humanity's homeworld that had been hidden from galactic civilization for 75,000 years. The questions burning in her mind were almost too large to comprehend. If humans were artificially created, who were the architects that designed them? Why had they hidden Earth from other civilizations? And most importantly, what did it mean that humanity's greatest strengths, their adaptability, their resilience, their refusal to give up in the face of impossible odds, were not natural traits but engineered characteristics? As their shuttle prepared for departure, Maya began composing her report to Earth Command. The discovery would change everything humans thought they knew about themselves. But she had a feeling that learning the truth was only the beginning of a much larger and more dangerous journey. The missing world on the ancient star chart wasn't just an oversight or error. It was evidence of a secret that had been kept for millennia, a secret that would challenge humanity's place in the galaxy and force them to confront the reality of their own engineered existence. The truth about humanity's origin, the emergency. Session at Luna Command had been called within hours of Captain Rodriguez's initial report. Maya stood before the assembled leaders of humanity's colonial administration, watching their faces as she presented evidence that challenged everything they believed about human origins. Admiral Sarah Chen, head of deep space exploration, studied the holographic displays with a mixture of fascination and growing concern. "You're absolutely certain about this data's authenticity?" Admiral Chen asked for the third time. Maya nodded firmly. "Dr. Park and our linguistics team have verified the translations multiple times. The genetic templates in the Genesis project files match human DNA patterns with 97% accuracy. We're not naturally evolved, Admiral. We're the product of advanced genetic engineering." General Marcus Webb, the military liaison, leaned forward in his chair. "Even if we accept this theory, Captain, what does it change? Humanity has been expanding across the galaxy for 3 centuries. We've established successful colonies, maintained peaceful relations with alien civilizations, and proven ourselves capable of spacefaring civilization." "It changes everything," Maya replied, activating another holographic display. "Because we're not the only ones who know the truth now." The display showed deep space monitoring data from the past week. Massive alien fleets had been detected throughout human space, conducting detailed scans of every human colony and outpost. Dr. James Park, who had returned to Earth with Maya, stepped forward to present his analysis. "The alien ships are using scanning technology we've never seen before. They're not just mapping our colonies, they're conducting biological surveys of human populations." Admiral Chen studied the tactical displays with growing alarm. "How many alien civilizations are involved?" "At least 7 that we can identify," James replied, "including species we've had peaceful contact with for decades. The Rigelians, the Tau-Cedians, even the Altarians who helped us establish our outer colonies." Maya felt the weight of the implications settling over the room. "They know what we are, and they're trying to decide what to do about it." As if summoned by her words, the chamber's communication systems activated. Commander Al-Rashid's voice came through the speakers from the orbital defense platform. "Luna Command, we're receiving priority transmissions from multiple alien governments. They're requesting immediate diplomatic conferences regarding the human situation." General Webb activated his tactical displays. "Define requesting, Commander." Sir, we have over 200 alien warships positioned at the edge of human space. The requests are being delivered at gunpoint. The room fell silent as the reality of their situation became clear. Humanity's alien neighbors had learned about their artificial origins and were treating them as a potential threat. Admiral Chen took command of the situation. Patch through the Rigelian ambassador. Let's hear what they have to say. The holographic communicator activated, revealing Ambassador Velthan, the Rigelian diplomat who had helped negotiate humanity's first interstellar trade agreements. But instead of his usual friendly demeanor, the insectoid alien's posture was rigid with what Maya recognized as extreme agitation. Admiral Chen, Velthan began in his precisely modulated English. We require immediate clarification regarding recent discoveries about human genetic origins. Ambassador, we're still analyzing the data ourselves, Admiral Chen replied carefully. Perhaps we could discuss this through normal diplomatic channels. Normal channels are no longer appropriate, Velthan stated flatly. Our scientific teams have reviewed the genetic templates your Captain Rodriguez discovered. Humans possess engineered traits that were specifically designed for unlimited adaptation and expansion. This combination has appeared only 3 times in galactic history. Each time it resulted in the extinction of multiple species. Maya stepped forward. Ambassador, humanity has never shown aggressive expansion behavior. We've respected territorial boundaries and maintained peaceful relations with all encountered species. Velthan's compound eyes focused on her with unsettling intensity. Captain Rodriguez, your species has established 57 colonies in less than 3 centuries. Your population grows exponentially. Your technology advances at rates that exceed natural development curves. You display problem-solving capabilities that allow you to adapt to any environment or challenge. These are precisely the traits that the architects engineered into their ultimate survival species. General Webb interrupted. Who are these architects you keep mentioning? The data files only contain fragments of information about them. The architects, Velthan replied, his voice carrying what sounded like ancient fear, were a species that achieved technological transcendence approximately 200,000 years ago. They viewed biological evolution as inefficient and began creating improved species throughout the galaxy. Maya felt pieces of a vast puzzle clicking into place. They were terraforming specialists. They would seed suitable worlds with life, designed to thrive in specific environments. More than that, Velthan continued, they created species designed to overcome any obstacle, survive any catastrophe, and adapt to any change. Most of their experiments were contained to single worlds. But the Genesis project was different. Humans were designed not just to survive, but to expand and thrive wherever they went. Dr. Park had been analyzing data throughout the conversation. Ambassador, if the architects were so advanced, what happened to them? The Rigelian diplomat was quiet for a long moment. They disappeared approximately 150,000 years ago. Most galactic historians believe they transcended physical existence entirely. But before they left, they scattered their engineered species throughout the galaxy and established monitoring systems to track their development. Admiral Chen leaned forward. Are you saying these monitoring systems are still active? We believe so. The fact that Earth was hidden from galactic civilization for so long suggests active intervention. Something has been protecting humanity, keeping you isolated until you were ready to expand into space. Maya felt a chill run down her spine. Ready for what? Before Velthan could answer, alarms began sounding throughout Luna Command. Commander Al-Rashid's voice crackled through the communicators. All stations, we have massive energy signatures appearing throughout the solar system. Unknown vessels are dropping out of hyperspace at every major planetary orbit. The tactical displays activated, showing dozens of enormous ships materializing around Earth, Mars, and the outer planets. The vessels were unlike anything in current galactic databases, smooth, organic-looking designs that seemed to pulse with internal light. The architects, Velthan whispered, his usual composure completely shattered. They've returned. Maya stared at the displays in shock. The ships were beautiful in an alien way, but their presence filled her with an inexplicable sense of recognition. as if some deeply buried genetic memory was responding to their creators. A new voice filled the chamber, speaking directly through. Luna commands communication systems without any apparent source. The words were in perfect English but carried harmonic undertones that resonated in ways human ears had never experienced. "Children of Genesis," the voice said, and Maya felt every human in the chamber shiver in response. "Your development period is complete. You have achieved spacefaring civilization and established colonies beyond your birth world. The time has come for evaluation." Admiral Chen found her voice. "Who are you? What do you want?" "We are your creators. We seeded your world with the genetic templates that became humanity. For 100,000 years we have watched your species develop, protected you from premature contact with galactic civilization, and prepared you for this moment." General Webb stepped forward. "Prepared us for what?" The voice carried what might have been amusement. "For the next phase of galactic evolution. Humanity was designed to solve problems that other species cannot address. Your adaptability, your resilience, your refusal to accept defeat. These traits were specifically engineered for challenges that lie ahead." Maya realized she was witnessing the most important moment in human history. "What challenges?" "The galaxy faces threats from beyond its borders, entities that consume entire star systems, forces that other civilizations cannot comprehend or combat. You were created to be the immune system of galactic civilization, capable of adaptation and innovation beyond any naturally evolved species." The implications crashed over Maya like a tidal wave. Humanity hadn't just been created as an experiment. They had been designed as protectors, as problem solvers for threats too dangerous for other species to handle. "And if we refuse?" "Admiral," Chen asked. The architect's response was immediate. "Refusal is not possible. Your genetic programming will not allow you to ignore threats to innocent life. When the time comes, humanity will respond as designed. The question is not whether you will accept your role, but how well you will perform it." Maya looked around the chamber at the faces of human leadership. Fear, determination, and curiosity warred in their expressions. But underneath it all, she could see something else, a recognition that the voice was right. When faced with impossible challenges, humans had always found ways to adapt and overcome. "The evaluation begins now," the architect announced. "Prove that our genetic engineering was successful. Show the galaxy that humanity deserves to exist, not despite your artificial origins, but because of them." The alien ships throughout the solar system began to move, taking positions that suggested both protection and observation. Maya realized that humanity was about to face the ultimate test of their engineered capabilities. But as she looked at the determined faces around her, she felt a surge of confidence. Humans might be artificial constructs, but they were constructs, designed to survive, adapt, and protect. Whatever challenges the architects had prepared for them, humanity would face them with the same stubborn resilience that had carried them from a single world to the stars. The missing world on the ancient star chart hadn't just been hidden. It had been protected while its inhabitants developed into something the galaxy had never seen before. Now it was time to prove that the architect's grand experiment had succeeded beyond even their expectations. Maya smiled grimly as she prepared to face humanity's destiny. They might be engineered beings, but they were engineered to be unstoppable. And the galaxy was about to learn what that truly meant.